Well, good morning, guys. We're starting day one of a 14-day quarantine out here. Just spent 14 days on a boat in Louisiana. So I got an automatic 14 days of quarantine here in Texas since I just came from Louisiana. I'm going to try to start on this 65 Fairlane here that I've got. I'm changing out a fuel line. Just flip you around here. So this is my 65 Fairlane Sport Coupe. Yeah, it needs to be clean. Been sitting under some of these oak trees and stuff. They've been dropping stuff off. I did manage to clean it up today. And it still needs some stuff. It does drive. I do have the tags and everything for it. But I need to do some work on it, which includes I'm going to reinstall the metal fuel line that comes up from fuel pump, which if you look down in there, it's hidden down in there. Bring it up. Yeah, I had some infestation. Thankfully my wires are fine. I'm going to bring it up close to the Edelbrock so that I've got a minimum of actual rubber hose there. Have to get some braided stuff to finish it. Part of what I'm trying to do on this particular car is I've got to do a few things that are taking care of what I took it off the road from. As you can see, that's your strut mount. That's a normal rust out area for a 62, 63, 64, 65 Fairlane. I do have a piece over here that came from Kreitz. I already painted it. That actually replaces that. Now they normally send it, I got some junk in it still too. They normally send it with a stub of a rail. I was lucky I got them that day. I don't need the rail because the rail's fine, but it sits underneath that right there, so I got lucky and was able to order it the day they were fabricating it without the stub. Part of what we're doing on this thing is I want to see what this will do going down the track, but my track is in HRA. In HRA, you can only have 6 inches of rubber line on your car. My lines are metal all the way forward with a small connector piece, so we're going to reinstall this steel line up from the fuel pump up and over here. Then we're going to add braided line. I guess also as part of history behind this car, I purchased this car off of eBay quite a few years ago, and what I ended up doing probably about 2012-ish I think is what it was. So what it was, no engine, no transmission, no hood, and a few other things. Some of the trouble areas on there, like I said, is that strut brace, passenger side cowl. I actually have a repair in the floor right here with POR 15, and it seems to hold up really good, the POR 15, but I did have a small hole here, and I used their floor pan repair kit. We'll see if it continues to hold up good or if it doesn't, but it is POR 15 there. It's a sport coupe. Got the console, the buckets, even got an underdash AC even though it's not hooked up. Another problem area on these cars is actually, well, you can't see it too well, is going to be the top side of your gas tank. Stuff gets up in there and collects, and it rusts out the top. You can have a beautiful looking bottom portion of the gas tank and the top be totally just crap. I got this 289 from a friend of mine over near Houston. Did a little bit of work for it. The heads have been off because I went through and lapped the valves on it, checked the head gaskets, because one of the head bolts was missing. However, it's a low mileage 1965 289. Not the original to this car, but it'll do because the original was long gone. Put new head gaskets, lap the valves, put a Performer Plus Edelbrock camshaft, or actually it's a new Naughty Bare Bones kit that's exactly the same. Put Edelbrock intake on it, Performer, $289. What ended up happening on that was I traded a big block Chevy intake that I had sitting around that I'd taken for parts from another guy, and we have an Edelbrock 600 CFM carburetor on here. I like the manual chokes. A lot of people like the automatics. So basically that plus just a stock C4 and then highway gears on is what it has. So we'll see what it does. Okay, here's the first step. I'm actually taking loose power steering pump to help out. You're going to have this bolt here, this bolt here, as yes you can see it. This one is actually going to be a through bolt that goes all the way into the block, but it has a stub on the end. When you're putting your engine together, you're going to want to make sure that that's in the right spot, because that also holds on your water pump and it holds on timing cover. Adjustment bolt, top bolt here. I'm going to just pull this one out, swing it out to the side. But another good thing to actually have at this point is one of these. This one's kind of beat up, but whoop, magnet came off it just now. You can get these for real cheap at Harbor Freight. These will save you a lot of times. Try to get one, because throw it up there, it ain't going anywhere. Now with that swung out of the way, there is a fitting right here that will screw in to your fuel pump, but that's also where you can screw in your original steel line. I've got this one loose. We're going to take it off, and then we're going to have to do a little bit more routing. Part of what it's going to do is it's going to route up through here, come out and around, come up through here, and then go to the back over here. Okay, there it is hooked in. Comes up and over like that. Be a little bit different if it still had the 2-barrel, but it looks good. Well, there we go. Still need to get braided hose to go for that last little bit, but at least we're the somewhere on this. Well, I got most of that stuff back together and back on, but we're about to get some rain here, and I'm gonna go inside at least the stables. That's where I've been staying. Got to keep the rest of the family good, but I don't know if you can see this. We got a good size system coming in. Y'all be good.